Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear viewer, today we learn in this lesson about history of microbiology. Which means that from beginning we will come through in a chronological order, which means that we will learn the story of achievement of man in the field of microbiology. So here are some facts that it is found that unfortunate for those names which have been forgotten and their work have been lost. It is the reason question arises why. It's the reason because in the field of science and technology, credit goes to all those scientists who has convinced the world, and those people who failed to convince the world, they have been forgotten. Why they have been forgotten? Because science does not believe in fairy tales and want proof. Also, those people who are not first to convince the world, and they are rejected. Here we see that in the field of microbiology, those names I have already told you, which have convinced the world and developed some techniques, tools, and concepts remains in the field of microbiology, and their ideas are accepted and adopted, and they explain the finding very well and are considered for the betterment of microbiology. Here we go. Marcus Terentius Varro, or which is also known as Marcus T. Varro, this is the gentleman. He was a Roman scholar, and he was in the time of 6th century BC. It is interesting that at the time of Marcus T. Varro, there were also other names which were Varros. So he was termed as this one. He was termed as Varro Rietinus, which means the real one, to distinguish him from other younger scientists of that time. Similarly, he worked in the field of microbiology, obviously, and he is the most learned of the Romans at that time, and recognized as a man deeply read in the history of microbiology at that time in the Roman. Muslim scientist. It is very fortunate for the Muslim era. In this time, this was, as we know, the golden period of Islamic scientists. It is from 18th to 13th century BC. In this time, Muslim scientists were produced in all fields of life, and some of the scientists which have contributed in the field of microbiology are given below. This is the first one, which is known as Avicenna, also called as Ibn Sina in Arabic. This is the gentleman who hypothesized the presence of existence of microbes in his book, which is known as Canon of Medicine. Second one was Al-Razi. He described smallpox, which is a viral infection, in his book Virtuous Life. And the third one in the field of microbiology, this is Ibn Zar, which is also called Ibn Zohar in Arabic. He discovered the scabies mites, which is also called this one. This is also called as 7-year itch. This is an infection which is caused by Sarcoptes gasbii. This is Girolamo. He is an Italian scientist, and he proposed the theory of epidemic disease. Epi means above or upon, and demos means people. Yeah, that some disease which are spreading in a country, in a region, and becomes uncontrollable, such diseases are called as epidemic disease. Uh, uh, he described the epidemic disease as the transferable seeds-like bodies or structure by direct or indirect contacts. This is the saying of Girolamo. He was born in 1546 in Delhi. This is the gentleman which is known by every biologist. He is Robert Hooke. He is famous for the discovery of cell. He was a natural philosopher, and he designed a very basic microscope. Obviously, at that time there was no proper microscope. This is the microscope which he utilized to study. To study what? He observed the bark of oak tree. Oak is a plant, and the bark is the outer dry skin of tree trunk and branches, etc. Here you can see uh, this is the bark which he studied under this microscope. This is a very simplest type of microscope with the help of which he studied this oak tree. Oak is a type of tree which he studied under this microscope, and he saw chambers are small box-like structure which he called as micrographia. The chamber which he saw in the bark. He published his work in 1665 for the first time in Royal Society of Publication. This is the best scientific journal at that time. Later on, the structure we was studied by this Robert Hooke are called as cella or cellula in Latin. This is the micrographia, the publication which he provided at that. This is Anthony van Leeuwenhoek in 1676. Hooke is a Dutch businessman and scientist as well. This was the golden era of that time. He is considered as the father of microbiology. He studied bacteria with a single lens microscope. It was not very much complicated type of microscope, which we call compound microscope. However, as I have told you in the beginning, that some facts are controversial. In this case, it is also considered that it was not the Hooke which is considered as the first microbiologist, but it is Athanasius Kircher, who was a priest, who is considered who first studied the microbes. Anyhow, next is Edward Jenner. This is the gentleman we should be thankful as this English physician who created the smallpox virus vaccine. Smallpox is fortunately now controllable disease. Here I will show some picture of man. This is the man which is suffering from smallpox. The whole skin and space, especially the face, is infected by virus. So here I would like to tell you the term vaccine. This is very interesting. It is from veka, which means cough. So actually Edward Jenner saw some cows teats which has blistered, and the blister of cow had some viruses. He took the pus from the cows and injected to the patient, like this one, injected the patient of smallpox, and they cured. This was the reason that the virus of smallpox was resembling that of cowpox, and when he injected the pus from the cows which contain the antibodies for the cowpox virus, virus, uh, that show some benefits in the patient which are suffering from smallpox. This is the gentleman which is very well known to everyone, which are using milks, wines, etc. He is a French microbiologist, Louis Pasteur. His major contribution in the microbiology are pasteurization of milk and wines. Second contribution is rabies and anthrax vaccine. Rabies, uh, this is the inflammation of brain, and it occurs by the biting of dogs, and the patient become infected inside the brain and ultimately dies. Similarly, the anthrax is skin, lungs, and intestinal infection, which is also a bacterial infection. This one, rabies, is viral infection, and this one is bacterial infection. These two vaccines are created by this Louis Pasteur, which are still used in the field of medical sciences. Similarly, he is also some of the pioneer of germ theory of disease, which I will also tell you in detail in the next lecture. Germ theory of disease simply means that it was considered at some time that people are suffering from germs, and there was another school of thought which said no, these are not germs, but there is a polluted environment, which is called as miasma theory or spontaneous theory, which will be discussed in detail in next lecture. This is Robert Koch. He is a German physician and bacteriologist. He identified TB, cholera, and anthrax. All of the three are bacterial infection, and fortunately he got Nobel Prize, which is the highest achievement in or reward in the field of science, technology, etc. He was given this Nobel Prize on TB research. This is Beijing. He was a Dutch microbiologist and botanist as well. He is considered as the founder of environmental sciences and microbiology. How is considered as founder? Because he demonstrated the tobacco mosaic disease. He took the idea from Dmitry Ivanovsky, which was a Russian. At that time, there were also two scientists. One was Ivan Mosky and the other was Stanley. Ivan Mosky described the tobacco mosaic disease, and in 1930 there was an American scientist which was known as Stanley. Stanley was the scientist who crystallized the tobacco mosaic viruses. This is the gentleman. We should be thankful to him. Thank you, sir. This is the Scottish physician, and the contribution which are given by Alexander Fleming is the first enzyme isolation, which is called as lysozyme, and secondly, who immunized the whole world from infectious disease was the isolation of penicillin from a fungus which is Penicillium notatum or Penicillium chrysogenum. This is Carl Richard Woods. He is an American microbiologist and biophysicist. He is famous for defining a new field in the history of microbiology, which are archaea or archaea. These are placed near nowadays in the kingdom of prokaryote. And look, Montagnier He got Nobel Prize also in the field of physiology and medicine. He is the gentleman who discovered HIV in human being. It is notable that before 1980, there was no history of virus of HIV inside a human, and it is considered that this virus, this HIV, which cause AIDS acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, it is considered that it is transferred from monkey to man. And here are some facts that April 24 in San Francisco, this Ken Han, this was reported as the first patient of AIDS, and Robert Redford, he was the man who died from AIDS in United States. And John Craig Venter, he is the American scientist who provides genome, that is genetic sequences of living organism for the first time. And that's all for you. Thanks for watching.